Hello and welcome back to Movie Flakes, the Suspect Episode 1 review. Aidan Turner is in the crosshairs in ITV's new review. The suspect sees Aidan Turner's hero psychologist suddenly in the frame for murder. But did he do it? You are familiar with the narrative. Stephanie Martinez's portrayal of Jane Tennyson isn't having a good day. She is on her way to work when she observes a mugging and gets off the bus to pursue the perpetrator. Despite being appreciative, the victim isn't interested in reporting the crime. After completing her training, the young WPC eventually makes it to the Hackney police station where she is on probation. Her hair is unkempt and her makeup is caked on. After receiving a reprimand from the domineering Sergeant Harris, she is promptly assigned to serve tea and biscuits to her male superiors, who are glad to delegate their cleaning duties to her and the likable WPC Kath Morgan. Regardless of the reign, 1973 Britain is a very different nation. Harris doesn't pique Tennyson's interest in a murder case, but D.I. Bradfield is intrigued by her zeal and includes her in the inquiry. Julie Ann Collins, a teen, was discovered strangled in the underground parking garage of the nearby Kingsmead development. The victim's drug-addicted boyfriend Eddie Phillips shows up at her rundown apartment, providing Bradfield and Tennyson with more information about the victim's bleak life than her distraught parents, who live across the country in suburban comfort, can. Door-to-door inquiries generate a few leads from the suspicious neighbors. A peek of Clifford Bentley, a career criminal who is trying to avoid the bank robbery he is forced to carry out upon his release at the orders of local gangland boss Clay Whiteley, gives hints that there may be more to this case than is initially apparent. It turns out that Renee, Bentley's wife, who is played by Ruth Sheen, was the target of the mugging in which Tennyson attempted to interfere. Her spouse was given a warning to uphold the agreement by the assault, which was no accident. Superhero psychologist with early-onset Parkinson saves a teenager's life in public, meets a detective while out with sex workers at a bar, gets employed right away as a consultant in a murder investigation, and is later made the prime suspect. Oh, and Poldark plays him. Based on Michael Robotham's debut novel, ITV's newest glossy thriller, The Suspect is a semi-ridiculous, cliched, but nevertheless entertaining, 5-part series that airs once a week. A little like the HBO programs The Undoing and Big Little Lies, this London-set adaptation presents Turner's Joe McLaughlin as a man with a perfect existence, in contrast to other versions where we delight in seeing attractive individuals with aspirational lives face their comeuppance. He is a highly successful psychologist with his own private practice, numerous books that have been published and are still selling well, and a new book that is coincidentally about murder among sex workers that will be released soon. He obviously has a stunning wife and a devoted daughter, and after he miraculously prevents a 17-year-old patient with a terminal illness from jumping off the 10th story of the hospital he works in, he has gained some sort of national notoriety. So when a young woman is discovered half-buried and stabbed to death in a cemetery while Joe and his family are having a leaf fight there, and it turns out that the woman was a former patient of Joe's, and also recently applied to work for him, and previously accused him of sexual assault. To put it mildly, it looks a little sus. To be fair, Joe isn't helping himself in this situation. Joe is taken to the morgue to see the body after being hired as a consultant after having a fortuitous encounter with young Detective Divi. Along with remembering the door code and sneaking back in when the police aren't looking, he also fails to acknowledge that he recognizes her. Sean Park's well-to-do homicide detective D.I. Ruiz, however, isn't about to let it happen. He can immediately smell a rat. He learned to think like a criminal via years of working the beat. But maybe Joe has learned the same principles from years of clinical psychology. Sure, it's rather cliched material, but it doesn't make it any less enjoyable. The Ruth Rendell Mysteries, Prime Suspect, and The Suspect are all glitzy productions with a ton of talent both in front of and behind the camera. Recently, writer Peter Berry has also written episodes of Gangs of London. Camilla Strm Henriksen, who has hefty crime credits in her home Norway, and James Strong from Vigil and Broadchurch share directing duties in a program that feels ambitious and exhilarating from our first taste, even if it is amusingly ridiculous. Whether Joe's recently discovered Parkinson's is to blame for his slightly erratic behavior will undoubtedly be a key question as the episode progresses. Interesting supporting characters are also likely to emerge. One who is undoubtedly significant is Dr. Fenwick, Joe's longtime friend and coworker, who has asked Joe to lead her down the aisle at her approaching wedding. Bobby Schofield, Joe's patient, who assaulted a woman for pushing in a taxi line, will undoubtedly return. The drama in Joe and Julian's home is another factor that will undoubtedly be threatened. Naturally, we'll be watching the case and mouse chase with our police team. The Suspect airs on ITV on Mondays at 9 p.m. Each episode will be available on ITV Hub after broadcast. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos.